Ooh, not stressing what I can't change by yesterday. I think it's time for me to return to God's way. Cause he kept me even when I was finding myself. And he was there even when I was going through hell. So good, makes me wanna yell. Hallelujah, my God is real. Can't express all that he's brought me from. But if it wasn't for his hand, I'd be dead and gone. I'm returning back to you, Father, cause no other plan for me will do. I tried it all on my own, but you stay there. You held me down, God. Gave me victory after I dropped the ball. So I'm returning back to you, Father, cause your plan was best for me. Time after time I failed. I was losing balance, I can tell. Like one side was too heavy on the scale. In life I was missing all the details. Trying to have fun, thinking it was cool to be on the run. I wasn't indebted to anyone. Like a ship without a sail, I was out there, just going anywhere. Turning back to you, Father, cause no other plan for me will do. I tried it all on my own, but you stay there. You held me down, God. Gave me victory after I dropped the ball. So I'm returning back to you, Father, cause your plan was best for. With you I don't lose much sleep. I used to struggle trying to get through the week. Now I'm doing with your will and not mine, cause she was leading me the right way the whole time. Took me all of these years to realize that your plan is better than mine. It's just such an easier way, and mine wastes time. To you, Father, cause no other plan for me will do. I tried it all on my own, but you stay there. You held me down, God. Gave me victory after I dropped the ball. So I'm returning back to you, Father, cause your plan was best for. With you I don't lose much sleep. I used to struggle trying to get through the week.
Connecting the community through gospel.
The new 107.9 FM, W300EB,
Macon and WDDO 980 AM
Perry.
Macon. Connecting the community through gospel.
The new 107.9 FM, W300EB,
Macon and WDDO 980 AM
Perry.
Macon.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of the Glory 980 AM, the Glory Media Group, LLC, WDDO AM, its staff, management, or advertisers, but are the views and opinions of the participants of the broadcast.
Ask Elaine, where to ask Elaine. Ask Elaine, where to ask Elaine. Ask Elaine, where to ask Elaine. Ask Elaine, where to ask Elaine.
Welcome. Welcome to Asking Lane. You know that it's Wednesday. It's 3 o'clock, and we're just so happy to have you there. For those who've tuned in on AM or FM, those who are here with us on Facebook Live, we want to thank you for tuning in with us. We are so grateful to have you there. We've got a lot of information to share with you. We had some guests who were scheduled to be on with us. Unfortunately, there's some circumstances that have come about, some situations where these folks will not be able to be with us today. But next week, we will hopefully have a representative from the Tubman Museum again, who's going to talk about a lot of the events that are going on. We also hope to have a representative of the Evangelical Ministers Alliance to talk about the events that are coming up in honor of Dr. King. Um, we also hope to have and want to express congratulations to the new director of the Douglas Theater. And we hope to make contact with him and invite him to come on. He replaces Miss Gina Ward, the longtime director of the um, Douglas Theater, and we want to wish her well in her retirement. So we've just got a lot of people, a lot of events, a lot of things that are going on. And if you tell me, if anybody comes to me or comes to you and they say there's nothing to do in Macon, there's nothing going on in Macon, just walk off. Just walk off from, because I have a hard time keeping up with all the stuff. And I know with all of the different organizations and all of the planners who are putting things together and making big, I know that there are a lot of things that people ought to go to, even if you just go to your neighborhood rec centers. Those of you who live in South Bibb, you probably have not been over to see the South Bibb Recreation Center that we worked so hard to put in place and include and make sure that finally there was recreation and tennis in the South Bibb area. It's one of the largest recreation centers, and all over there are so many different things going on in this community. Yeah, please take advantage of these things that are put in place using your tax money. Someone is sitting somewhere making a decision about what kinds of positive things to put in place for you, and they're using your money. And so you ought to go and see what it's all about, see what your money is paying for. We've got a lot of good information for you about different things that are coming to your community. We're going to kind of recap some of the things that came out of City Hall, some of the projects that have been funded, what you can look forward to. We just want to thank you for tuning in. God's Way Church Ministries, that's Overseer Mabel Randall. We want to welcome her to Ask Elaine. We tried tuning in a little bit to a little bit of her program on yesterday with Carol Spain. We weren't able to sit through the entire thing because we had special public hearing yesterday at City Hall. We had a summit, safety summit, and we also had a pre-commission meeting as well as a commission meeting, and we took care of a lot of business, millions and millions and millions of dollars worth of business on your behalf. So I'm sorry I missed, but the good thing is on this station they record it, so you can go in, pull it up and share it, and people can see it as many times as they want to. And this show is recorded. So each week, if you miss a part of it, you can always go back and review it and watch it at your leisure. So, Overseer, thank you so much for all that you do for the community, and we're glad to see you there. Y'all that are on with us, please like and share. That will be a reminder to everyone that it's time for Ask Elaine, and you don't want to miss what we're going to share with you today. That's our greetings. We do want to thank our sponsors. Senator David Lucas has been a sponsor of Ask Elaine for a number of years. We also want to thank Sheriff David Davis. And we look forward to having him and some of the other folks from the Sheriff's Department on show very soon. We want to thank District Attorney Anita Reynolds Howard, who has committed to help uh, sponsor Ask Elaine. We also want to thank Black Voters Matter, an organization that works year in and year out to make sure that people who are underrepresented realize that the only way that they can receive full citizenship rights is to vote and make sure that they vote not just one time, but every time. We want to welcome Pastor Lisa to Ask Elaine. We also want to welcome Steve Bryant, who's in Virginia and who joins us each week. We want to welcome him. Also, Ricky Crawford, good afternoon to you and welcome. We want to welcome everybody. Y'all, please hit like and share. To remind those who, because we don't want them to miss any of this information, Harriet Taylor is on with us, and she says she enjoys the program. We are happy that you are with us. Thank you so very much. Let me remind all of you that we do have the 2023 calendar. Senator and I have those done every year. We reordered the calendars, which are suitable for hanging on the wall. They are large calendars, and people love them. And we would love for you to get one. We have left a few here at the station, WDDO, and we do have a bunch of them over at the school, EL High School Academy. And if you want to stop by now, Joyce Gray Humphrey and Mary Jane Glover are there in the office, our super volunteers. Nita Huckabee, my sister, is going to join them. They will be there and they'll be glad to let you have a calendar or two. If you wish to get calendars and distribute them at your church, then we have enough that are available for you to pick up a handful of those and distribute those at your church. We were real pleased to distribute calendars at St. Matthew's, Stewart Chapel, um, New Pilgrim. And so we just want to get those out because it's already almost the end of February. So we want you to have those calendars. Pastor Lisa says Happy Black History Month. It's the shortest month, but there's a lot of stuff that happens during the month of February where we get an opportunity to celebrate ourselves. But we don't just need to do it during February. We need to be about celebrating ourselves and our accomplishments the year round. Because if you open that door just a tiny bit, you open that door just a little bit, and you let us get one toe in, then the rest is history. We are there 365 and we excel. And I think that is the fear that a lot of people have. And rather than having fear, you ought to welcome people in and have them to achieve. Because anytime one person achieves, that builds the achievement level for everybody else. That's the way I think about stuff. I don't know about you, but I am not bothered. I am happy, more than happy, when other people achieve, when other people excel, when people finish this degree or that degree, or they uh, 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 are a part of this milestone or that milestone. I'm very, very happy because it takes nothing away from me, but it builds the standard or the quality of life for all of us. And so we've got to think about stuff that way. That what happens with you, what is for you, it's for you. And what's for me is for me. And we should not have a problem with what we each are able to accomplish. Sharon Woolfolk has joined us. Good afternoon to you, and welcome to Ask Elaine. We're so happy to have Sharon Woolfolk with us, and all of these folks. Amzie Rouse Robinson has joined us, and Cynthia Searcy. Good afternoon to you. We are so happy. Y'all, please share so that you remind those who forgot to tune in, forgot that it was three, or they were busy with something else. Just share it so that it will be a reminder to them. And whatever medium you are using to get Ask Elaine, we thank you and we're glad that you're there. But all of our sponsors, we want to thank them. Former Mayor C. Jack Ellis is one of our sponsors. And we would like to say a big hello to Reverend Dr. Henry Ficklin, who is the mayor's community affairs executive director. Henry is representing the Sister Cities program. You know that there are different cities in countries in different parts of the world that are a part of our Sister Cities program. And during Cherry Blossom and other events that go on during the year, these citizens or congregations or contingencies from these different places come and visit us. And then we have representation from here in Macon Bibb, and we got together and we go visit those different countries. Well, back in 2000, Dr. Ficklin, former Mayor C. Jack Ellis, was mayor then, and I was privileged, along with, I guess must have been maybe 20 other people, traveled to Elmina, Ghana. And it was a thrill to be a passenger on an airplane coming in over the top of the trees in Elmina, Ghana. It was a wonderful experience. Dr. Fickling at present is in South Africa representing Macon Bibb as an ambassador there, representing our sister cities program. And so we look forward to that. Um, and Patrick, our stats person, has already posted a link from 13 WMAZ. There's an article there that says, "Curious what are Macon sister cities?" And so, for your information, if you want additional information, you can reference that in the chat here on Facebook Live. Pastor Lisa salutes our first Black mayor, C. Jack Ellis, during Black History Month. Sharon Woolfolk has shared this, and we just want to thank all of you for tuning in. Thank you to all of our sponsors and those who have tuned in. We express our condolences to, there are four, I believe, four ministers that we're all familiar with. One is Dr. R.L. White, Bishop Morton, there's a Reverend Davis, and I know that there's someone else. If those of you who remember the other ministers who have passed this last week, if you would put that information in the chat, we would appreciate it. Pastor Lisa salutes her teacher, mentor, Reverend Dr. Henry Clay Ficklin. Patrick also has another article that he's posted in the chat here, the comments, on the Sister Cities program. And so, who knows, there will be groups of citizens going from Macon to some of these other sister cities. One is Macon, France. One is Elmina, Ghana. There are a number of others in different parts of the world. And who knows, if you are interested in that, then get the information on the Sister Cities program and inquire further. And who knows, you may be one of those chosen to be a part of a group representing us. And then certainly when these people come to Macon, Georgia during cherry blossom or during the other parts of the year, then you certainly could be here to welcome them. We are finding that there are so many different uh, nationalities of folks living in Macon Bibb now. Macon is no longer just black and white. Black citizens make up the majority. I believe it's 54% of Macon Bibb County. There are approximately 30 plus 35 something percent of Macon that's white. But there are people of African descent. There are Hispanics. We have a sizable Hispanic population. So Macon is an international place. It's just no longer one race or one ethnicity. Um, Pastor Lisa is Africa, the motherland, rich land and history. Dr. Ficklin called me once he landed in South Africa, and he told me, you would not believe, people want to think that Africa is just jungle and this and that. And there are some people who want to make it seem like Africa is a backwards place. And there are some places all over this world that are not modernized to the point that we think of as being modernized. But in Africa, there are some parts of Africa that are very rich. In Ghana, I believe several years ago, they found oil, and so that means money, additional money and resources. And guess what? The two things are that they decided to invest the majority of that money in. One is education, and two is healthcare. And so I just think they're on the right path. But Dr. Fickling was saying, you have been trained to believe that Africa is backwards, that there's no modernization, no this, no that. But you would be surprised. And I think when Dr. Fickling returns in about a week, we're going to have him on with some pictures to show you. And in the meantime, you go on and Google Africa, African countries, and see the difference in what you have been told and what Africa really actually is. There are some parts of African countries that are not modernized, but all of it is not that way. And there's a lot going on in a lot of these African countries. That's why many of the other countries, especially China, they have tried to go in and take over a lot of the things that are going on in Africa, because they know that they're realizing that there are a lot of resources that are being discovered in these African countries, and they want to swoop in and get it. That's why the United States has to be vigilant, has to be on top of these things, and we have to make sure that we maintain our relationship, our closeness, our relations with these other countries and these continents. Now, um, fact check. You're right, Pastor Lisa. We have to fact check to make sure that we don't leave and spread the wrong information. There are people out there trying to give us the wrong information. They want us to think that Africa is backwards, like the Tarzan movies that we all used to watch, where we were swinging from trees and it was just animals and all that. Well, there's some animals there, yeah, yeah, but there are also some places that are very, very modern, and they're becoming even more so. So Patrick's article, the one that he is sharing with us, we Africa must not shy away from attracting investments from oil and gas energy. And so just do a little research. Don't believe what we were told some years ago that folks are underdeveloped or undeveloped and they're this and that. Do your research and find out for yourself. There's also another article that Patrick has posted. U.S., Chinese, and Russian officials tour Africa as charm offensive gathers pace. They're trying to charm them into allowing them to take over the riches and the resources that are being discovered in Africa. I just finished telling you that in Ghana, several years ago, they discovered oil, and what the Ghanaians are utilizing the monies from that for. So let's change our perception, because we have been brainwashed about a whole lot of things. And I do appreciate all of you who have tuned in. For those who've just tuned in, this is your voice, Commissioner Elaine Lucas. I've got it all by myself today. We usually have guests, but our guests were not able to get here today. There were some unfortunate things to happen, but on next week we do plan to have representation from the Douglas Theater and the Tubman Museum here, and also someone from the Evangelical Ministers Alliance, and we want to hear what they are planning. As a matter of fact, we want to announce again to you that the Martin Luther King board has designated the Evangelical Ministers Alliance as our organization of the year. Last year, the Mentors Project with June O'Neill was the organization of the year. And this year, we're very proud to announce that the EMA is the organization of the year for all of the service that they give to this community. Now, if you want to find out what events are going on in recognition of Dr. King's life and works, organizations that are putting forth the positive things that are going on in our community, then you check out Macon Bibb's web page, and you will find a listing of all of the King events. And you will find those that are sponsored by the Mentors Project, and you'll find out those that are sponsored by the school system, those that are sponsored by the health department, those that are sponsored by the Tubman and the Douglas Theater and the Evangelical Ministers Alliance. Pastor Lisa wants to let us know that some of the events that are coming up, there will be the 7 last sayings, which you can get information on. Um, and we're going to have someone to talk about the Drum Major Awards, which take place in April. So there's just so many things going on, and you need to be a part of it. It's so exciting living in Macon, Georgia now. We're small enough to know a lot of people and to care about each other, but we're large enough where you don't all running all over each other. And there are enough events going on in this community that everybody can attend something. There are people who worry about there being an amphitheater, city auditorium, a the center, convention center, all those things. We can support all of those, because not only do we have 155,000 citizens in Macon Bibb, but think about all the counties and the cities that surround us that we can pull from. And with the new Lucas interchange that's being built as we speak, and will be providing jobs for this area and other areas, this entire state, for the next 6 years, to the tune of, I think it was, the last count was 600 or 700 million dollars. As long as we have the interchange going in where people can get in here and get to where they want to go, and it's going to make traveling safer and safer and safer. We can bring people in, and we can support more than one event at a time. We've got all of these churches that are sponsoring events. We have entertainers from all over. We have some wonderful talent in this community. And so we've got the best of all worlds. We're not too huge, we're not too little. We're getting modernized every day. We're going to have a brand new amphitheater that will hold 10,000 people. And the mall area is being redeveloped as we speak. On the east side of town, there are plans in place to develop over there on the East Bank, over by the Centralplex and the Marriott over there. So there's just so much going on. um, there are these old houses that you used to have beside your house. Yours might That one might not be torn down by your house yet, but just hold on. Over 450 different structures that were substandard, that were hazards, have come down in this community. And that's something for us to be proud of. And the other part of that is, y'all, that there will be new structures put in the place of those. It won't be just a vacant area. There are plans in the works to build, to have contractors and individuals to go in and have a way of getting access to loans where they can put in new structures, because we do have a housing problem here. There's a lack of housing in Macon Bid, but that's a problem all over. So we have got to work on that. But that's just a few of the things that are going on. I want to let you know that there's a lot that took place at the commission the last several weeks. And for those of you who get tired of my voice, it's tough this week because my guests, some things came up with those guests, but I've got a lot of stuff to share. Lot of stuff to share, and I do agree that Macon is on the move. And Patrick has posted um, some more information for us on the groundbreaking and other things. And if you want to see the progress that's going on in the building of the amphitheater, there is you can go to Macon Bibb County, and there is a time lapse camera, a video of the work that's going on the amphitheater, so you can see all of the work as it takes place. You can see the gradual progress on that. So y'all, please take advantage. Look, don't just sit back and say, there's nothing going on. They're just spending my money for this, that, and the other. There's a lot of good stuff that's going on. And when it takes place and your money is being used for it, you need to be there to take advantage of it rather than sitting back talking about, that's those other folks' stuff. I don't go to this, that, and the other. While I'm thinking about that, I want to congratulate Janice Habersham and her husband, her daughter Jasmine, and I don't remember her married name, but her daughter is an opera singer who I believe lives in Memphis, Tennessee, I believe. But she was here a couple of weeks ago and performed with the Macon Symphony. She is an opera singer and is just making a name for herself and making Macon very, very proud. And we are just so happy for her. For those of you who were able to attend that performance at the Grand Opera House, I'm sure it was a wonderful, wonderful time that you had with the opera. I was sorry I was not able to make that, but congratulations to the Habershams on their daughter's return to the Grand Opera House with that performance. We want to always salute our young folks who do well. And Janice's daughter keeps coming back. She comes back to Macon to give back to this community. Now, if you have a question or a comment that you'd like to make, we invite you to call 478-250-1444. We'd be glad to hear from you, your questions, your comments. And Sharon Wolfalt congratulates all of these different folks on the things that they've been doing. And Patrick has posted information that shows you where you can go to see the progress on the amphitheater. And he has just posted information on the event that took place in collaboration with MRSA and the Macon Symphony Orchestra. All of these things you can find. We are about providing as much information as possible. That is why we need all of you to share this, to like and share this page so that you can spread the word to other folks. While I'm talking about spreading the word, District Attorney Anita Reynolds Howard has officially kicked off her campaign. She will be having a special fundraising event. I believe it's March the 4th or the 5th. We will provide that exact date in the chat here. So if you'll come back after we're finished, you'll be able to see that. But she has officially announced that she will be running for reelection. She will be on the ballot next year. You'll also have the mayor's race. You'll have all 9 of the other commissioners on there. You'll be voting for president, vice president, and you'll also be voting for the Congress people, not the senators, not the U.S. senators who serve 6-year terms. So Warnock is in there for another 6 years. We got him in there. Y'all remember that? Congratulations. But you will have a lot of races to vote in next year, along with District Attorney Anita Reynolds Howard. And the work that she has done, she deserves to run unopposed. She really does. But if somebody decides that they want to oppose her just because they can, then we need to be there to support her. We need to make contributions to her campaign, and you can do that through this site that we will post. So I wanted to get that out of the way, and periodically we will have the district attorney on to update you on the things that are going on in the DA's office. If you follow her page, the district attorney's page on Facebook, you will be kept up on the different cases that her office is handling. You will find on there that the percentage of Black folks who are represented in her set of employees has increased from 14%, I believe, to 47, 48%. More reflective of the population of this area. So the girl's doing what she needs to do, and she's doing more than I think I can think back over maybe 4 district attorneys, and she is the only one who has done all of the things that we see that she is doing. She is also going to have a table set up at the Soul Jam 2023. Senator Lucas is in the planning for that. And so if you want to get tickets, that information will be available very soon with the lineup. Senator is in Atlanta representing us at the state capitol. So um, when he's free, we're going to have him on so they can talk about Soul Jam. But D.A. Howard will have a table there, and they will have all kinds of goodies that they'll be handing out, along with Black Voters Matter, with T-shirts and all kinds of things. So you need to start planning for Soul Jam. It will be May 28th. It's the Sunday before Memorial Day. It's the day before Memorial Day. So plan for that. Pastor Lisa, are you there?
Yes, Madam Commissioner, yes.
Welcome to Ask Elaine. We got Dot Ridley on. She's on
Oh,
listening. We want to welcome her. But tell us what you want to share with us.
well, I wanted to call and salute you and my senator on in Black History Month in Macon. We certainly want to thank you all for your contributions to our people during Black History Month, and I didn't want the month to go without calling in and saluting you over the air. You know, I salute you all the time privately, but I want to do it publicly and just thank you all for your service. I know you've served us over 30 years, and he's coming up almost to 50.
Yeah.
And so I just wanted to call in and thank you all so much for all of your sacrifices and struggles and strains over the years to serve us. And I always say, you know, our motto is to find people like you all who are big enough to serve us and small enough to know us. And so I just wanted to call and salute you and thank you for all that you do to help make them be great. And you're doing a great job at doing that. And I just didn't want the Black History Month to pass without saluting you and my senator from District 26,
Well,
Senator
we
David
appreciate
Lucas.
you, and you are Black history as well.
Oh, bless you. I'm humbled by that. I'm officially on my sabbatical. Sister Preacher's on my sabbatical for the next month as I come up to my
Oh my.
birthday month. And but I wanted to come off of my sabbatical and call in to ask Elaine.
Oh. Well, we
And
feel
just
honored.
salute you
Thank
all.
you so much.
Yes, and pray much for us. And we thank you for all you do with the MLK Board Commission as well to help us keep the dream of Dr. King alive 365 days. And we just want to call in and salute you as our chairwoman of the MLK board as well, and all the work that you do with pedestrian safety. And I could just go on and on, the work that you do with EL High School and almost, 2,000 kids that would have been dropouts and now high school graduates and duly employed and engaged in our communities. And I just want you to know that all those years of you serving as an educator in our community, all of that work is not gone unnoticed, and we thank you for your service. And like I said, and even your husband's service in the House and now in the Senate. I just want you to know there are those of us who seriously appreciate you for the sacrifices and the struggles and the strains over the years to serve us.
Well, thank you. Thank you very, very much. And Dot Ridley and Ben Ridley, we want to
Oh,
congratulate them and celebrate them as Black History. As a
yes.
matter of
I
fact,
was
all our
recently with her.
folks, yeah, yeah,
Yes,
they
I
are
was
Black
recently with
History.
her at the Mercer Studio to
Uh-huh.
celebrate Macon's 200 years.
Yeah.
DI and Dr. Butler were panelists to read the history of businesses that are over 100 years old in Macon. And so I was recently with her and saluted her as one of the first female black businesses downtown Macon. Did you know that?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, she's
yeah.
been in
So like you're saying,
business, what, over 10 years?
yeah. And then of course, you know our presiding retired elder, Rittler. We certainly honor
Oh,
him
yeah.
always. He knows we love him much and salute him as well.
Yeah, he's something else, and we want to thank them and salute them. There's just so many people who do so much. They just do
You know,
so
and
much.
I was gonna wait until I come on the show, but you open up a window for me to talk about that the people we're getting ready to salute for Martin King Day, who have
Okay.
just what you're saying have done so much to help make and one of them is working with us on the MLK board and the bicentennial. That's Dr. Thomas Tubal.
Yes.
And there are people like that, like you're saying, who have worked so long and not really been recognized for
Yeah. Yeah.
the service they have
Dot
given in the
Ridley
community.
says, Pastor Dot Ridley says 21 years that she said,
Wow.
Dot, get me not. Uh huh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And see, again, there we were thinking 10 years, and it's been double.
Yeah.
You see
Yeah.
what I mean about how long
She
people
has some
serve?
pretty stuff in there too. I gotta go. I gotta go shopping. I haven't shopped.
But you,
There's no bags that have packages that have come to the house this week. So it's
but
time
you
for
know,
me to go down.
if I'm not mistaken, she's also known for a lot of work that she does with the
Yes.
labor
A. Philip
union.
Randolph. Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Mm,
and a lot of
yep.
people don't know that he, was instrumental in the march for Dr.
Yeah.
King. You know, and they helped keep that legacy of A. Philip Randolph alive. So
Yeah.
I
We're
mean,
gonna
it's on the
have
record.
Dot on real soon too. So she might as well just get ready. Because we want people to see these folks who have been
Right,
working
right,
all these years on
right,
our
right.
behalf.
Exactly. But I
Hmm.
won't take up all the time. I just wanted to call in and salute you guys before Black History Month was over, and just let you know we love and appreciate you for your service.
Well, thank you very much. And you look for next week to be available. You just have to interrupt your sabbatical again and come on and talk about the other things that are being planned. You and we got to have Dot Ridley and Ben and some others to talk about the different things that you're involved in.
Well, we'll be too glad to do that.
Okay.
So you enjoy this beautiful day.
Thank you. It is a beautiful day. It is a
All
beautiful
right.
day.
Bye bye.
Um, thank you, Pastor. City Hall happenings. City Hall happenings. There was a safety summit yesterday morning, sponsored by the Pedestrian Safety Review Board. Several media outlets had given the impression that the Pedestrian Safety Review Board hadn't done very much. So we were sitting looking funny, like where have they been? How could they say or insinuate that the Pedestrian Safety Review Board hadn't gotten street lights put in, hadn't gotten sidewalks put in, hadn't recommended the safety precautions, pedestrian safety amenities for 247 and for Jeffersonville Road and for these different roadways. We were formed, the official approval came in 2016. It was my honor to present the ordinance to the commission for approval. It was unanimously approved and signed off by the mayor. And we went into operation and serving. There were 15 members appointed to serve on that pedestrian safety review board. And we started collecting information as to where we were as far as losing people. And we found that we were so far up the list. We were just leading the country in loss of life due to pedestrian accidents. And so we started to work. And over the years, we have done so much. We really did not realize how much had been accomplished. All of the lights, the existing lights in this community, we have supported their replacement. So in every community in Macon Bibb, the lights have been replaced, the street lights. There are new street lights. And just last night at our commission meeting, we approved the installation, I believe, of 35 or 36 additional street lights. There are a bunch of them that are going in on Moncrief out in Lizella that I don't think has ever had any street lights. So they're like 9 of them that are going in on that. And then that's a long, long stretch of road. So there are street lights going in there. We've previously approved additional street lights for Lake Arrowhead. Excuse me. And we approved additional street lights for Simmons Street out in Bellevue, for Catherine Drive on the north side of town. We approved some street lights for a number of on Forest Hill. We approved some street lights for some other places, and I do have my list too. I need to pull my list out. I should have done that before I started talking so that I could tell you exactly what streets were being recommended. Okay, Simmons Street, Moncrief Road, Catherine Drive, Greenleaf Drive, Forest Hill Road, Everline Avenue, Curtis Drive, Allen Road, Watts Road, and those were the ones, just the ones that we approved at yesterday's commission meeting. At a previous commission meeting, we approved streetlights, additional streetlights for maybe about 6 or 7 other streets. So, what can you do to let us know? You're sitting there saying, well, there needs to be some more street lights on that street up there. Well, if you will email me or if you will call me and if you will give me the name of that street that you think needs to be evaluated for additional street lights or change out of some street lights. On some of these streets, there were new ones put in, and some of them there were changes made to them. And we also got a diagram that showed those existing street lights where there were some already there. So all of them didn't need to be put in. But just please rest assured that your commission is working as hard as we can, not only with the Pedestrian Safety Review Board, but also with individual organizations like AARP and other groups that are telling us the things that need to be done in this community. And believe me, we are trying to do those things as much as we can. We have entered into an agreement with the Bibb County school system for them to let work with us so that all of those areas around schools where there are insufficient um, sidewalks or no sidewalks, that we would make recommendations to the administration that sidewalks be placed in those areas. We're encouraging students to get out and to walk to school, get that exercise. We're encouraging our citizens in neighborhoods to walk. And so we must also provide a safe place for these citizens. So that's the focus that we have. And now I have to thank um, this administration. Last year, they put in $100,000 additional for lights and sidewalks. Now, that only take care of a little bit. So this year, $500,000 was put in. And Patrick says that Pinona Avenue is one of the most dangerous roads in Georgia. The coroner agrees with you because, and when he spoke at the summit yesterday, he said just that. Pinona Avenue is one of the most dangerous roads in Georgia, and certainly here in Macon-Bibb, but certainly in Georgia. Obviously, the most dangerous road in Macon-Bibb. Yeah, well, that's a quote from Leon Jones. Um, there were at least 4 pedestrians killed on Pinona last year. Cardinal Jones says, though, it isn't just drivers who are steering that number. It's folks who walk in the dark, who take a shortcut because there's insufficient crossings for people, and folks wear dark clothes. Wade, are you on the line? Wade Horton?
How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you? Thank you for calling in.
Thank you. Since the last time I called, you got a call
Ye-
screener now. Oh, you moving up.
It's this engineer, this wonderful engineer. They keep me, they've got a sign, Wade, that says, do not touch any controls. So I don't touch anything. But they're here to help to keep us on the air so we don't have a big boom and blow up the station.
Oh, okay.
So, and Bishop and Apostle pray for me that I don't touch anything in here. So yeah, we are just so grateful to have this means of providing information to citizens. So what do you have to share with us?
Well, I want to invite you, the commission, and the public to the next transit authority meeting that's going to be the last Tuesday of this month, which is coming up, and because we need to discuss and share our input on the increase in the bus fares that they're
Right.
implementing, and they pretty much implemented it without a public hearing prior to. And I read an article uh, that the CEO said that they don't have to do it prior to; they can do it afterwards. And so, pretty much, according to the article that I read, it pretty much was making uh, the assumption that it was going to happen regardless. This is just a formality, but we know
Wade,
that the numbers.
that is the impression that I got last night, and I questioned Craig Ross extensively about it, and I said to him that I will be asking the folks who serve on the Macon Transit Authority to turn down, to vote against that increase, because the Transit Authority has received 6 or 7 million additional dollars of our money, and they've chosen to buy buses and stuff. I think they need to take that and use that to absorb what would have been a rate increase. So I have asked them that if y'all will go back and replay last night's commission meeting, you will see that discussion.
Okay, that's additional 6 million. Is that from the CARES money they received?
That yes, yes,
Okay, okay. And a little research I was doing, a lot of agencies since COVID, a lot of some of the larger agencies, they were experimenting with free rides. Of course, some went back and said that it would be better to offer reduced rides. And amazingly, I was surprised to find out that only 7% of their monies collected from fares went to the total operation of the authorities. Uh, and I also found out that most agencies were trying to reduce instead of raise rates at this time.
right, right.
So
Well,
you said
Wade,
Terry,
I'm
I
going
was
to
going
tell you this. I served notice last night that I was going to ask them not to approve it. We need others to do that same thing, to call people, and I need to post a list of the folks who serve on the transit authority and ask each one of you to call these folks and ask them not to approve the rate increase, to utilize some of that $6 or $7 million that they received from the federal CARES Act, which is our money coming back to us. And the least they
right.
could do is not to increase the fares. And I asked the question, isn't it true that some years ago that Mercer students received free transportation on the buses late at night? They would be
Yeah.
maybe downtown and they needed to get home safely. And seems like
Yeah.
I believe that is the case. So if you can give free rides to certain folks, which I don't have a problem with, you can certainly keep the rates for those folks who don't have transportation of their own. You certainly can keep them under control.
Right. I don't know if you remember last year, a couple of years ago, I came and addressed the 31st, and I came and addressed the
Yes,
commission. And at the time, they were talking about free rides for veterans. At the time,
right.
they were
And
talking
that
about
is in
all
place.
veterans. At first, they were talking about all veterans, and then after we said that the authority couldn't afford to do that, then they made it 65 and above.
Hmm.
And I remember telling the commission that if they can afford to do it, great. But if they have to raise the rates on everybody else, it's not a good idea
Right,
because most
right.
veterans are in much better financial shape than the people that ride buses in Macon.
You're right.
Mr. Tompkins made a comment in the Telegraph and said that most of our people are below the poverty line. They're poor. And I was on the bus. I ride paratransit because I can't see to drive. But I was on the bus, and it broke my heart. It was a lady that the bus went to pick up, and when the bus went around, the lady said, "Well, I don't have no money today, so we had to pull off." Now,
Mm,
this lady had a stroke, and she was had a cane, and she was at the dialysis center. So I know in her mind, I didn't speak to her, but in her mind, I need to get there. I worry
yeah,
about getting home after I get my treatment. And that's what people are going to be forced with because right now it's $2.50 one way to drive, ride paratransit, which is $5 for a round trip. Now the rate for paratransit would be going up to $3.50, which is $7 round trip. We know our people in Macon, Georgia, cannot afford that.
right, right.
Now,
And
I
Wade, I'm going to ask our engineer if he can extend us for about 10 minutes. Will that be
okay.
possible, Mr. He's going to extend the Ask Elaine for about ten minutes so we can finish this discussion on the bus rides and so we can get some folks who will call the transit authority. You have to make some noise if you want to make some change. And this is
Right.
something that's very important. The poverty rate in Macon Bibb is either 25 or 27%, which means that there are three people, well, two and a half, three people out of every 10 who are living below where they are able to provide for themselves and their family. So that's a lot of people. A lot of those people do not have transportation. And it is
Right.
unfair when a governmental entity receives 6 or 7 million dollars of our money. That was our money that came from the federal government. It was just we sent it to them. They turned and sent it back to us to use in ways to benefit us and to alleviate the effects of COVID and poverty. And for an
Right.
entity to take that and then increase the rates. And the thing was, they said, well, it's been 15 years since I don't care if it's been 90 years, you still received $7 million and you chose to buy buses. That's fine. But you could have taken a portion of that and used it for something else and not increase the rate. So I'm asking all of you to please call or send an email to these Macon Transit Authority folks and ask them not to increase the rates, to find that little money somewhere else. And so I'm encouraging all of you to do that.
And also encourage them to come to the meeting on Tuesday. I
Right.
think it's at
Patrick
five
says the
thirty at the
poverty
terminal
rate is
station.
25%. That's, yeah, yeah. But the meeting is at what time?
5:30.
5:30. And where's the meeting held?
It's at the terminal station.
At the terminal station, in
It's
your
on the third
terminal
floor.
station. You know, Wade,
Right.
we own all of this stuff. Citizens, we own
Wow.
all of this.
And you
People
know
don't
the thing about
realize
that,
that it's theirs,
the thing
that
about
it's
that
theirs,
is,
and their tax money goes to keep them running, keep them going.
right, right. And you know what, Miss Lucas, I would like to think that there are some great people on the authority board, and they just did not get the necessary information to make uh, good decision on
That's what
raising
I
the rate.
think. And they didn't
I
hear
think
from
that
anybody.
right. I think that's the case because uh, when you don't know any more information than when you're being told, then that's the only thing you have to go on.
Right. That's
And
right.
those hearings prior to would have been really enlightening to them, even if it was just two or three of us that went down and spoke and could tell stories about uh,
Right.
people, to tell stories about how you see drivers sometimes having to complete the fare for someone, or myself, I have, and others have given fares to people who were on that bus. And you think about, I'm just going to use somebody who go to dialysis 3 times a week. Those extra $2 a day adds up. That's
Right.
uh,
Right.
$6 extra a week, which is $24 extra a month just for that. And when you're on a income, that is a high tax of your
It
money.
is.
When
It is.
groceries are going up, everything is going up. You're paying local taxes, you're paying federal taxes, so you're already paying twice. Well,
Right.
3 times, because you're still paying the fare that they off. You
Hmm.
have to pay. I
Well,
just feel like at this
Wade,
time,
let's work on that. Let's work on that. And let's try and get you some folks, get some folks there. You're saying next Tuesday, 5:30.
yes,
Okay.
yes, every
I'm
last
going to
Tuesday of the
be
month is
there.
the board meeting.
Okay. All right. And those who are listening, if you have time, if you would meet us at the terminal station, the one with the colored sign still up, in yeah, that terminal station. If you would meet us at 5:30 next Tuesday, we'll be there, and we will request that the board did not approve, and we're going to try and see if there isn't some other money somewhere that can be used instead of a rate increase, because people just cannot afford it. Patrick just posted that we've got a 25% poverty rate, and he's posted some other things. Wade, hold on a second, and or call me later because I want to help with some organizing for this
Okay.
meeting. But I need to announce that Mount Moriah's Black History panel discussion will take place that same evening, next Tuesday, but it's at 6:30. And we encourage you to be there after you leave the Transit Authority meeting. The Board of Health meeting is on Monday at 9 a.m. at your brand new, spanking brand new, beautiful Board of Health there on Forsyth. Ebenezer Baptist Church is having a Black History program at 11 a.m. this coming Sunday. And then Union Baptist will be having a Black History program at 4 p.m. So there are lots and lots of things going on in this community. As far as, and I want to announce a couple more things that happened at your city hall. The safety summit, we talked about that. The street lights, cameras are going up in Carolyn Creighton Park, on the Riverwalk, a portion of that. And there's one other section, Carolyn Creighton Park, in the downtown area, and also on the Riverwalk, some portions of that. And we asked some questions about the sheriff's department and their involvement as to how they would handle this. And when we have the sheriff's folks on here, we're going to talk about that particular thing, where those cameras will be, how they make us safer, how they catch the bad guys if there's something that happens to happen, how it brings about overall safety, in better safety in this community. And we want to salute Gwen Westbrooks and Maria Bryant, who are attending a housing summit in Atlanta. Today, they're with the NAACP, and they're looking to find out what the crisis is all about and how local activists can work with their local communities and governments in order to help to alleviate this problem. We know that there are many, many people, families who are living in up in hotels. They're homeless basically because there's a housing shortage. And so they're going to be dealing with that. They're also going to be dealing with a huge number of people who are being put out of their apartments, people who are being put out by the court of their apartment. So when they come back, they should go over and visit the senator while they're there at the Capitol, and we want to talk with them when they get back about what they learned and what we as a local community can do about this. I know y'all probably got tired of listening to me today. It's one y'all love when we have guests on, but it was just me today, and I appreciate you bearing with me and being there. Patrick reminds us that the next transit meeting is Tuesday, February 28th at 5:30 at Terminal Station. That's posted on the in the chat there. So, y'all, please see me. I'm going to be there next Tuesday. I'll be there for the first part of that meeting, and then I'll go to the Black History Program at Mount Moriah. So, y'all, please meet us there. We need to have a nice crowd there to let folks know that we don't want the rates for Macon Transit increased on the poor people of this community who have to depend on public transit. That should be the last thing you do, and that's increase the rates on folks when millions of their dollars are coming in here to keep you from having to do that. So we got to get busy. We got to get busy. There's plenty of work to do. I'm all in. I'm going to do all that I can for these other few years that I have, and I'm challenging you to do that too. You have time and talents, and you can help as well. We need you to stop fussing, stop complaining. We need you to get out here and help with some of these things in this community. So take me up on my challenge or just be quiet. Just don't say anything if you're not willing to help. So thank you so much for tuning in to Ask Elaine. I hope that you learned something today that was beneficial to you. And I hope that you'll take me up on my challenge to you to get up, stop being sorry, do something to benefit this community other than just complain. Run for office. Push and support somebody else who wants to run if they'll make us proud. So we'll see you again next Wednesday at 3 p.m. for another edition of Asking Lane. Thank you so much for tuning in. And thank you, Mr. Engineer, for helping me to keep the station safe. Y'all have a good evening.